Hashivenu Hashem Eilecha V'Nashuva. Chada Shemini Kekedem. Heard this song a few times in the last couple of days. What is the song? What does it say? Hashivenu Hashem Eilecha. Take me back to you, V'Nashuva. Chada Sheminu Kekedem. Renew the days the way like it was. Chada Sheminu Kekedem. So how do we do that? How do I renew the days the way it was? Where does it come from? Is it coming from outside? Am I waiting for a spaceship to land? Am I waiting for something to fall into my lap? Chada Sheminu Kekedem. Well, that too. But how that happens is now that you are on the journey of evolution, that you're taking your own evolution into your own hands. You're not here waiting for handouts. You're doing the work, because if you're listening to this message, you're probably doing work, and trying, not waiting for any handouts, but you're putting in the work. A handout is always good, but it's much better when you activate, when you go for it and you learn the matzah of yourself. It comes from within us. Chada Shemini Kekedem is that we store everything in the womb. Our stomachs that's the Tiferes, that's where we have our whole consciousness, our program, my past, my present, and the future. Nobody knows the future, but the potential future, because it's still in raw matter. So that has the potential to open up to whichever way it is, whichever way it needs to be, and it should be only with goodness. That's a separate conversation, depending on how you drive that. So Chada Shemini Kekedem is that I should have a moment, a glimpse within myself, that I should find a truth within myself, something that I have compassion, something that my innocence, a point of innocence, tamimus within myself. And once I make contact with that, then it sparks. It's like a lighter that you spark, and then the flame goes up. I'm sparking, and then I'm creating a flame out there, and then I can enter that space. And I can start living from that space. Chada Shemini Kekedem. We can go back to the way it was before I got, stuck in my process. So this week is part of וישב, just a point, a strong point that I think we can take as a good tool as to work and go and help us get through to wherever one is stuck and in a struggle. If it's something that you're on a journey already for a minute, or something that you were just handed the file, you just were pushed off the slide, and you're sliding, and you're looking, trying to figure out, blaming self and blaming others and all that. But let's go back to the core, the source of it. Yosef HaTzadik, he has dreams, and his brothers don't like it, they get jealous. So just to understand, what does it mean they get jealous? Vakane by Echav means that they were jealous, but not the way we think they were jealous. Because they were from Olam Abriya, they were like, superpowers. And by them, jealousy wasn't like in their egos. They were really concerned about where Yosef is going with this, his way of thinking, his way of, and he's the Ben Zekinim. He was born to his Tati's favorite child. Mami was Tati's favorite wife, and now he comes, and they were really concerned with, what do you mean? You can't go out there and go to Mitzrayim and start putting tefillin on everybody and talk about, bringing them in, Kiruv, and having them come to shul. We're not, it's too dangerous. It's gonna, but Yosef understood that if we want to get to the other side, if I want to go through it, I can't play it safe. I got to go and I got to invest. I have to put myself out there. And if I put myself out there, then I will certainly succeed. Why? Because what the brothers are doing is that they're putting him into a pit. They're putting him into a hole. It wasn't just about, they decided that he needs to die, that they have to kill him, and rightfully so. He was sentenced by his brothers, and the super conscious, they said, look, this is not, he's talking, he's doing this, that, and the other, and he's a danger to society, and we have to eliminate the problem. But just by killing him, they're not going to solve the issue, because he can come back. They wanted to make sure that the problem is dealt with. So what they did is they put him into the ground. The ground is a seed. When you take a seed, a tree grows when you take a seed, you put it into the ground. That seed carries a code in it. The code, which is a higher vibration. It's a vibration. It's a davar. It's a ruchni. It's like a thought. You put it into the ground. It has to dissolve completely. It rots away. Nirkav. It rots away. Then the earth brings out and carries starts growing a tree, depending on what type of effect it had. Just like when you have two people have a child, two different people are going to have a different child that's going to look different, depending on what the chemicals, the mix of the message, or the mix of the code is. So they throw him into the ground and into the pit, and they say, like, now he's going to be deleted, because we are also, the ground is earth, we are made out of earth, and you're putting it into the ground. They're like, the problem is done. However, Yosef had other plans. He didn't, but his creator did. So he was fully surrendered to it. We're not going to get into that right now. He was built a bit of Messias. He was completely like surrendered to whatever it was. He ends up in Egypt. He ends up in Mitzrayim. He goes to the top, and then he ends up back into a pit. Okay, and from the pit, from the place where he started his journey, he goes onto the slide. He was put into the slide, pushed down. He comes out. They take him to Egypt. He goes back in. He comes out, and from there he becomes second in command of Egypt, the most powerful country in the world at the time. Okay, so the message here is like this: that when you have the problem is not the problem. The problem is not where it's at. We are not the problem. The problem is just something that is, if you get caught up, if you get carried away with the problem, you're losing track. It's staying in touch, staying in touch with the point of entry, staying in touch with who I am, what's my truth. And the way this is done is, Avev Shomer es Hadvar. No matter what, Yaakov screamed at him. He understood what was going on, but he kept his eye. He believed in the dream. It made sense to him. He believed in the dream, and as long as he believed in the dream, he kept driving it. No matter what he did on the other side while Yosef was away, he kept driving the agenda, and that's what stayed focused. And we see also when he was by Potiphar that he saw the face of his father, and that's what that's when he left the house. He ran out of the house, which means that constantly he was in touch with his belief, with his innocence, with his little innocent belief that he felt that he can change the world, that he can be in the world, be in the world that way. And we also see something last week. We said when Shimon the Levi went to kill everybody in Shechem, to take care of whatever the wrong that was done for their sister. It says in Rashi, it says in Torah, they came with confidence. Rashi says, "Betuchim al koich shel zaken." They were confident in the koich of the zaken, of the old man, which means that for two 13-year-old boys to come up with a scheme to how to, first of all, what they did, they got everybody to circumcise, and then they come back and they kill a whole city, all the men. Somebody had to really believe in these two boys, 13-year-old boys. Somebody had to really, really believe in them. And Rashi says, Yaakov really believed in his kids. He empowered his kids, because it says in the Torah that when Hamor and Shechem came to him, he says Yaakov was quiet. He waited for his kids to come home. He believed in his kids. He raised them well. He empowered them to such power that they were able, two of them were able to go. And it wasn't how strong they were. It was how powerful in their confidence they were, that they knew for sure they can't fail. Failure was not an option. And the same thing happened with Yosef. Yosef is miles away from home. He's lost his mother, sold by his brothers as a slave. He's being, whatever he's being accused of, but he stays because Avev Shomer es Hadvar. Yaakov believes in him. If Tati believes in the child, it's unstoppable. With all the work that we're doing, and the healers and the therapy and all types of other methods that we're doing, when Tati or Mommy gives you a compliment and says that you are amazing and you're powerful and you got this, don't be afraid of anything, that's all you need to hear. And keep in mind that when you're going for whatever you're going for, this is what you're looking for. You want to hear the message that you are good, that you got this. The same thing happened to Yisrael Bashem, to the Bashem. Kadosh became Bashem because his father told him, don't be afraid of anything. and love every fellow Jew like you love yourself, and that's it. That's why he didn't flinch when he encountered animals when he was going into his Badedas, because his vibration was real. It wasn't lying. It wasn't a made up thing. So that's the thing, and for those that if we are already, sometimes we don't have that where Tati and Mami can tell us because we're already kind of like moved on. You have to be your own authority. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your truth. One truth, your value system, something that you believe in that is strong enough that this is what it is. This is who I am. No, I don't do that. And when I do this, I do it for this reason. You have to believe in yourself. That is the seed that you're planting within yourself. And also important to be around people that believe in you. To be around people that know how to tell you that they believe, even if they don't, but they know how to tell you that they believe, even if they don't really know you. But positive people, because the surrounding that's the earth, that's my bar, that's my ditch that I'm going into. And if I'm hanging around people that are not positively inclined towards me, then the tree that's going to grow is going to be a negative tree. Who needs that headache? So it's important. It's important to be around people that can give you a positive affirmation, positive feedback. I think that's pretty much it. That's where it's at. So lighting the candles, going into the candles, we're going into Hanukkah. Each life it's a slide. You're going into this tunnel. In the amusement parks, you have these in the water parks, you have a closed slide. You go in and you turn, and then you end up in the water. That's it. You're going to end up in the water. Water is when you're already in your potential. You're in your tree is growing now. But we're all on a slide. Not because that's what it is. It's what needs to activate. And I want to add something else, which was I didn't point out yesterday, in the message yesterday. The force that we're coming from is a yesh ma'ayin, is ayin. It's built. It's betachas abshidus. It's in simplicity. That's the force that we're coming from. In order for something like that is lo neda, something that we don't know, that has a different type of expression that the way we think. In order for that to be expressed, it has to something that doesn't make sense has to happen. Something that doesn't make sense has to happen to us down here in Klal and then in the Prat, my personal life. When that happens, I understand now that something that is that doesn't make any sense, that's where it's coming. It's coming from such a high place. Because everything meets, the top meets in the bottom. So if I have a 1 here, I'm going to see a 1 over here at the bottom. A 2 is going to reflect a 2, or a 4, whatever it is. 2 and 2 is 4, whatever the combination is. But if I want to tap into something that is beyond, that's bigger than that, something that I'm communicating with, something that's higher than what I can process, which is that we're coming from a yesh me'ayin, that means that at some point our way of thinking expires and we're entering in a space of it's coming from just because it doesn't fit. In other words, this chemical, if you go back with it, at some point we're just expiring, and we're hovering mid-air, we're just receiving, we're created out of a reflection. I'm throwing things, but you'll open it up. We'll open up later. But just to keep it simple, something has to be something unconventional, something that doesn't make sense is happening to me. When that happens to me, as I always say, where the pain is, that's where the light is. Where I'm feeling the pain, that's where I'm liking. If I'm feeling it in my heart, that means that I'm entering in a place of connection and love. If I'm feeling it in my stomach, it means that my will or my desire, so on and so forth. So everybody has a unique vibration. Each and every energy, every koich, every person carries a unique vibration, a unique sound. Together we make one type of sound. When I'm by myself, it makes another type of sound. In order for me to activate my vibration, I have to go through a unique process which looks like it doesn't make any sense. And when you're at that place where you're just going through hardship, that you're feeling it's getting too much, that's when you know you're going into a place of bittul. That's when the seed is completely dissolving and you're about to give birth to a new tree. But Vaviv Shomer es Hadvar. You have to go into your chachma, into your father brain, and stay confident, or have somebody, a friend or somebody that can give you the confidence to tell you, try to find the nakuda as to why you're going through this process. You're not here to be dragged through the mud. You're not here to be in pain, but you're here to give birth to something new. And we understand who we are. Like, this is where we're coming from. We're coming from a superpower, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, which is the three channels that we're carrying. Avram is the right side, Yitzchak is the left, and then the center is Yaakov, which is the balance. So we have all this in our DNAs, carrying it in our waters, in our vibration, in our memory. Is that we can go back to our original place of being, where we're coming from. So when we have the Chanukah, we're going into Das, we're going into presence, we're going into knowing. When we're going into knowing, which means that our tower is up. When our tower is up, we can receive the signals. So the whole time it's down. Nafla teres reshenu, the atara, the crown of the king fell down. So we're looking down, and we can't get the message. But now we're going into Das, the oil. When you pour oil, everything goes up to the top. So we're going into the Chanukah, we're going into the oil, that we're able to, once again, we're able to receive that message. And each one of the candles is another cinder, another pipe. Chesed Gvur Teferes, each night that we're communicating and connecting through another channel, and each channel is just endless of channels that multiplies, just like the Aleph has Aleph Lamed Pei. It keeps opening up and multiplying, the letters keep multiplying. So, L'chaim Bevracha, have an awesome Shabbos. Let me see if I covered that 100% with the Yesh Ma'ayin. So you have nothing comes out of nothing just because, doesn't make sense, and then that's the Kesser, and the same thing happens here in Malchus. Malchus is Lesla Megar Maklum, which is the Kesser and the crown and the Malchus and the queen, they work together. So the crown is in fine, yes, okay, that's pretty much it. Have an awesome Shabbos. And it should be Yashvus. We should all have grounding. Vayeshev Yaakov. We should be Eretz Canaan. We should all have find the inner peace within ourselves, within our waters, and give birth to what needs to be given birth to, and just keeping it simple, to keeping it in a place of just being, and let the tree grow, because the truth can't be put out. Even if you're in the ditch, even if you're in a dark place, it's only because that's how your tree needs to grow. Some trees grow in the dark, some trees grow in the light. So don't get confused by what's going on the other tree. Just keep track, keep confident. If you're looking at what's happening with somebody else, then you're introducing the wrong environment. You need to be in the container, in a vessel that is a healthy container for yourself. Have an awesome Shabbos.